General Assembly that are here, who've been a very important part of this effort. I wanted to thank the members of the Highway Working Group that has devoted a significant amount of their time and energy to making recommendations for new highway funding in Arkansas. And also certainly see the highway commissioners that have joined us for this occasion, both current and past, which is an important issue for them and their efforts to continue to make highway development a key part of economic growth in the state of Arkansas. I also wanted to recognize Chairman Baird for his leadership as chairman of the Highway Working Group and all those that really shared the passion and interest and dedication to that task. Where we are in Arkansas right now is there's probably a greater urgent need for immediate infusion of state funds into highway development than ever before, because the federal government passed the federal highway bill that put on the table at least $200 million a year for new funding in Arkansas roads, but it requires a match that the state make. As Scott Bennett, the director of the Highway Department, indicated, if state highway funds are not available at 20% of the total cost, this will equate to an average forfeiture of $200 million per year in federal highway funds, for a total of $250 million of highway projects that cannot be implemented annually in Arkansas. And so it is obvious that of the urgency of the mission that we have and the immediacy of action that is required. If you look at the specific needs short term, and I said, tell me exactly what we have to have this year. And this requires a match of $46.1 million by September 30th of this year, and then an average in the future of about $50 million per year. That is the need that we have found that has been identified. And yes, you could say, well, that's just the starting point. That is the immediate needs, but you also have an overlay program. You've got continued maintenance. You've got new roads that need to be constructed. I agree with all of that. But my responsibility as governor is to make sure that we handle continued highway investment with the other needs of our budget and with what we can do now. And so with that, I wanted to go over the main points of the highway plan that I'm proposing to the legislature. First of all, this will amount to $750 million of state funds going to highways over the next 10 years. And this means that we are putting on the table $2 billion of federal funds over the same 10-year period. This highway plan that I'm proposing includes no new taxes. That means no increase in the gasoline tax, no increase in the diesel tax, no waiver of exemptions. This is no new taxes that are to be considered under this plan. Third, the first year, which I mentioned is $46.1 million, can be funded based upon the current unallocated surplus of $40 million. This would be $20 million that should come from rainy day funds and $20 million that would come from my executive discretionary funds that I would allocate. In my judgment, this leaves sufficient rainy day funds for other emergencies in the state. It doesn't fully deplete those. This is unallocated funds that we can tap to immediately go for one-time funding toward the need before September 1 of this year. Fourth part of the plan is that the revenue from sales tax on new and used cars is phased in over 5 years and capped at $25 million. This has been proposed in the past. It has never been done, but we are tapping that portion of general revenue that really relate to highway user fees and saying we're going to phase that in and apply it to our highways. I'll go over the amounts of that in a few minutes.